Okay, somebody or other asked me to do a video on the overdoses, the drug abuse, and the violence at Occupy Wall Street. Well, since I don't like to just say one side of the story, because, I try to have a rather balanced view of everything, yes, there has been quite a bit of drug use and abuse at these Occupy protests. As for violence, I can't really say because I haven't seen any violence from the protesters towards police. This is a peaceful protester. So a peaceful protest. So a majority of the protesters are people that have usually morals, a conscience, and good standards and whatnot. And they're upstanding citizens. They're not hippies, drug addicts, violent criminals, or offenders or anything. So the people that end up being violent towards police, they are not the people who represent the majority of the protesters or the majority of the people. The 99%. They are kind of outcasts who are there mainly to have fun, to try and wreck something, kind of rebels. Every group has some bad apples, so that happens with it. As for drug use and abuse, one of my friends this morning I was talking to over coffee said, "Oh yeah, people are going down there because it's free sleep or free camping, free party, free drugs." It's like, well, nothing in life is free, especially not drugs. You want drugs, you gotta buy drugs. Now, yes, I'm sure there are people selling drugs at these protests. Sadly, I would prefer not to see it, but it happens. When you get a group of people sleeping in tents, usually a few of them tend to be vagabonds or something that like to abuse drugs, which is a shame. On Occupy Vancouver, 2 days ago, a girl overdosed on drugs and died. A few days prior to that, a man was overdosing on heroin, but the paramedics got to him and saved his life, but the girl sadly couldn't get to her. She passed away. So yes, it's a terrible shame, but please don't, well, you know what, no. I'm not going to ask anything of you except that you use your mind, your brain, the intelligence that you were given and the intelligence that you formed over the period of your lifetime to come to your own decisions, basis, views, whatever, on this protest. Yes, these protests are costing taxpayers money. Yes, there are bad people at these protests doing drugs and creating violence. And yes, there are police infiltrating these protests and creating violence in themselves to try and create a ruckus to get the protesters removed. That's all happening as we speak. It's a shame, but it happens. As for the protesters taking taxpayers' money, yes, think of it this way though, this is how I'm looking at it. You can either have your taxes go to policing protesters, or you can have your taxes go to the pockets of your government officials and not towards things that could be of value. Whereas the thing was, it's protesters or, government's pockets. It's protesters are there for a reason because they want to have a better life for not only themselves, but for everyone. I can't stress this enough. This isn't, let's take from the rich and give to the poor. This is, we want a more balanced world where instead of one guy who stole from people via taxes, or lack of paying taxes, or worked with the banks on Wall Street and invested in the corruption or fall of cities, countries, people, houses, whatever, those kinds of things, stole in legitimate ways. Okay, the bankers are professional thieves, really good professional thieves. But anyway, that person that did all that stole from people within the law, interestingly enough, has all these vehicles, all these houses and stuff, but the people he stole from are homeless. They're starving. They have no future. Balance. That's what we need. We need balance. People need to be eating and have houses. And people need to, we need better laws, we need better government, we need better politicians, we need better bankers, we need better banking systems, we need a better currency system, we need a better overall financial economy, we need a better economy, we need a more self-sufficient economy, we need a lot of things. It's step by step, So anyway, if you guys are genuinely interested in having an opinion on this, please look into both sides. Both the positive of what Occupy Wall Street is actually trying to do for everybody, and the negative, both what's happening at Occupy Wall Street and how a lot of people are viewing it. Take both sides, form your own opinion. Left, right, you are the center, you are the balance. So I'm going to tell you guys a website to check it out. Occupy Wall Street Exposed, OWS Exposed. Can't play one side of the field. I gotta show everyone everything. So check that out, and like I said, don't believe everything you hear and see on the internet. Even me, I know, don't believe everything I say. Take it with a grain of salt. Use your own judgment and thoughts on it and whatever. Not everybody everywhere is correct. Not everything you read is correct. Interestingly enough, though, you hear or read something 3 times, and you'll be more likely to later on recall that as truth. So watch how many times you read false information. more information at that. So that is all. Occupy Wall Street. It's got its ups and downs, but it's what we're aiming for in the end that matters. Democracy, peace, equality, human rights, nature, preservation of the planet. There's a whole shitload of things if you actually look at it that we're, aiming for. So, peace. Have a good one.